What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Stirfry episode 2. I'm Chef T.
I'm Will the Spacekid.
All right, so we got a good episode for you today. We're going to be talking about streaming services. So whether that's Netflix, Hulu, music like Apple Music, Spotify, all stuff like that. So we're going to start out by talking about kind of like the background of, when streaming services came into play and kind of how they came into our lives.
The beginning, the start, Uno, first, the alpha.
First.
Let's
dun,
get it.
Dun, dun, dun. All right. So I remember when you actually used to have to go to like Hollywood Video and actually go and rent these fucking movies to watch.
No, I don't remember that because I'm 16, so I wouldn't know anything.
Oh yeah, he's a youth. Yeah, you wouldn't understand. No, but that was the times though. I feel like because you go there like with your parents, you're ready to go like rent a game or rent a movie, and you're so excited to walk in there. Just it's like that whole experience of going to the video store. I think that was crazy.
Blockbuster definitely had a crazy like look to it.
Oh yeah.
I think like yellow and blue, like that's a good combination of colors. Then you, like you said, you go in and it's like 10,000 movies, which nobody has in their house. There's no other place you can, you have access to even be around this. So yeah. I think that's kind of what made it cool.
And it was like kind of futuristic too. Like they knew what they were doing with like the setup there. Yeah, and man, for some reason, every time I went to Blockbuster, my ass came out with like a pack of candy. Every time, I'd be like, "Mom, like come on."
I mean, it's the upsell. The upsell works. Like upsell is always candy and pop.
Yeah.
Whether you go to Walmart, Target, you go to Blockbuster, that's the upsell.
Yeah. No, they're always on that. That's always making the money. But so like I remember even when Netflix first came. So my parents, they were like the early subscribers of Netflix and kind of they tried it out and it was dope because now you don't have to worry about returning it and getting that late fee. You keep it as long as you want. You pay a small subscription fee. You pick the movies, they get delivered. You put them in the mailbox. You don't have to leave your house. And I thought that was pretty cool. And back then, Netflix had a streaming service, sort of. But it was only these, like, shitty kind of like these B-movie type things where they weren't, like, super... They weren't, like, you're not streaming the best movie that, like nowadays. But,
yeah, it's made a lot of progress.
Yeah,
it definitely made a lot of progress.
Yeah, I remember the change, and that was kind of crazy. Like they really came in and took Blockbuster out, Hollywood, just Netflix alone was just like taking these people down. It was crazy to me.
I mean, it definitely took some time, took strategy, and coming into the entertainment industry, they were the joke. They were literally the laughing stock of every company.
Yeah,
they actually had meetings with Blockbuster and got laughed at.
Because I feel like no one really thought that it would have this much impact as it does now. Like, it is insane how back then they probably were like, dude, this fucking, like, we're Blockbuster. Like, we're fine. Like, shit, they're gonna do that? All right, well, we're gonna do our Blockbuster mail to order thing. And they tried out that and that fucking... It kind of flopped for them that they lost a big chunk of their business that way.
I mean, literally, if I'm correct, there is legit only one Blockbuster left. There still is. There may be 3.
Oh my god!
But if I'm like very correct, there is one in a small town, and the town will not allow it to leave.
Yeah, those small towns, man. There's something about like them going into town just to get a video.
I mean, I'm pretty sure it's like a lot of elderly people that live in that small town.
Yeah, they're used to it.
They want to keep it around.
Yeah, they're used to it. But that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like in these small towns, there's like some sort of culture where they want to actually be in the store. And yeah, it's because most of them are like older, but I don't know. That's like true around those communities, and like even like Apple Music and stuff like that. Those streaming services have really changed the game. As an artist, could you imagine how it would be like as if none of these streaming services were around right now? What would be different?
everything. Like literally everything. Like before streaming service exist, you had literally one option. You either went to the store to buy the CD or you did not buy the CD.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you had a couple options, but either way, like it was a huge difference in purchase. So right now, I could pay $10 and I can listen to as many songs as I want to monthly. Take away streaming services. What I have to do is I could even go to go somewhere and have somebody make me a CD, and that's like $5. I can buy hard copy CDs, make it myself. That's still $5, but I guess I can make like 100 CDs or 50 CDs or something like that. And then option 3, I can go to the store. So regardless, if I wanted to listen to like a certain amount of music monthly, it would just cost more.
Yeah, and not even, I would say, see, what you're talking about is you're not including the price that it costs to go through and purchase those. So, yeah, they cost $5. You can get a pack of CDs for like $5. But the amount of effort you have to put in to burn all those CDs.
Yeah, so that's another thing. Time. Like,
Yeah.
the difference in time. Like, so...
You could, like, split-second stream
Literally,
something.
yeah. Literally, your song comes out, I can just click on it. If you're, like, a big artist, most likely you're on the front page. I don't even got to type it in. Like, so...
Yeah.
It's just a huge difference. And just the value in listening. Like, if... Before, it was like, if the person doesn't like you... you really had low chances of selling. You had to be so likable to really sell records. Now it's kind of like you're not likable. You could be weird. You could be, anything that's interesting. Whatever you're doing that's interesting, that's kind of intrigues people. You could have a court case going on. People want to listen to your music. You could have some blog saying you shot these people, and people are like, "Oh, I'm interested. I'm gonna listen because I already have to pay the money monthly anyway, so I might as well check out their music, see what's going on."
Yeah. Well, exactly. So there's that. There's something that's never happened before. There's a chance to test somebody's stuff. Like, if you're going... I mean, there was a way in, like, FYI, right? It was at the place. So,
Dude,
like, there was a chance to scan it and, like, listen to, like, a sample, but, like, there's nothing,
We have to
like...
think about that. Like, me getting up out of my bed, driving to this music place, being able to click on the part of the song that they assume is the good part of the song.
Yeah.
And then decide if I'm going to purchase a $8 to $15 CD.
Yeah, this is crazy to me how that was a thing,
Like, it's literally, it's partially outrageous.
It is. It's crazy.
Just knowing that what we have now, what we're able to do, and the opportunities that we have, just from sitting in our bed, is way different.
Like, I feel like it's definitely really beneficial to the consumer in the fact that we have access, and to the artists or whoever you are, or making movies or whatever. Like, you have your option to get seen by more people. But the one thing I do see that's a problem as, like, the creator of stuff and, like, as an artist, it's really that like you're getting less money per views, and you're also in a market that's super ultra saturated, where yes, you can get seen by more people, but you have to make sure you're standing out more than these people. Like, it's a tough place to be. As if even with, like, podcasting and stuff like that, like, there are so many fucking podcasts. But our goal is to make this one different, to stand out. And I guess the idea is that if people start understanding that it's saturated and, like, stuff like that, then they can make the right moves to get it unique and to become more, like, unique and stand out in front of a crowd full of, like, thousands, if not millions.
Okay, so you touched on making less money.
Oh, yeah.
I really think making less money depends on who you are. So if we were to probably ask, let's say, a artist such as Beyonce, Ariana Grande, Jay-Z, how do they feel about streaming? I'm pretty sure even with Jay-Z owning Tidal, he would probably prefer for things to go back to the physical copy.
Oh, yeah.
Because these artists These are the stadium showstoppers. These are the people that people love. These are the people that people would pay $15 for a CD. If the only way you could listen to a Beyonce album was by paying $15, she would still go platinum. She would still go double platinum. These things would still happen.
Yeah,
These things
easy.
would actually definitely happen. When it comes into streaming, it's like you're trying to build up a number, you're trying to build up a crowd, you're trying to build up extra interest. And sometimes these artists don't go platinum. They might go, gold, or, have some type of cap space on their brand,
right,
as far as that specific project. But younger artists, it gives them a crazy opportunity. Like, you might not be the most elite artist, but you build an image that's phenomenal, and now you too can go platinum. Based off of interest, people wanting to know more, people wanting to know your story, because before that just didn't happen. Either people felt like you were an elite rapper or they didn't.
Yeah, and I guess like going off of streaming and like making money, I feel like nowadays there's way more options to make money through different types of outlets on the internet. Not just back in the day, it might have been like, okay, well, they do shows and they do and they get money from people buying their CDs, percentage like that,
Okay, so
But now you got like social media and stuff going in on that though, and like.
Okay, so now artists make so much money from concerts.
Yeah.
Concert tickets are expensive, and that's how the artist mainly makes their money now. On top of that, you also have merchandise from the artist while you're there.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I get it. But outside of like, merchandise and concerts, kind of like you said, people can make money off of posting other people's brands, products. People can also make money from acting in movies. Even if it's not like, that A-list big movie in the theaters, it's a lot of side movies with these streaming services.
Yeah.
People want to be in the Netflix streaming service movie, the Netflix original, because one, they're going to get paid, and two, they know a large portion of their fan base has access to Netflix.
Yeah, and exactly. Yeah, they have those opportunities that like they may not have had these streaming services not popped up. Like, that's what I really love about Netflix and their originals. Like, they're doing it right. What they realize is they have this powerful platform, and instead of risking all your stuff on other people's movies and other contracts, they might as well make shit that they own that then they can put on their own site that no one else can. That's genius. That's like, and they make quality. Like, they have these writers, and I read something online that's saying that a lot of these A-list actors in all these big movies, they used to never do TV shows and stuff, but now they're kind of getting into the more TV show Netflix original kind of era of content, and I think that's pretty. Crazy.
Well, one thing so the other thing is you have to remember, TV had a very high standard. So before, we kind of lived in a time where, this artist was caught smoking weed, so I'm not going to allow them to be connected or affiliated with our TV service because our TV service standard is so high. Where you have things like, Netflix or Tidal might want to do a video with you, and they're like, dude, I don't care if you smoke weed. Like, let's get these viewers in. Let's get these people, watching and, connected with our service. So I feel like Netflix was also a lot more lenient than these companies, they feel like they're entitled for you to have a perfect squeaky image, no tats, no smoking, none of that. Where, you have the smaller guys, they're like, I'll work with you. Whatever you like to do on the side, that's your business. I see, you got those things going on, but hey, let's do it. Let's work out a deal.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly, especially because then they're making more content now than ever. So that has another thing to do with streaming services like that. Like, yeah, they want to work with more people, and they'll work with smaller brands because people love content more than ever before. People are consuming at a crazy amount
So I
of
do got
rate.
a question for you. What did you think about the Mowgli? I can't even call it a collaboration, business deal. So, Netflix, they saw what Disney did with Mowgli. Mowgli was a PG movie around the world. People saw it when it's in theaters. They liked the story. Even before it was a movie, it was a book, and people loved the
Yeah.
book. And, Netflix says, we don't usually do this, but I want to buy Mowgli and be able to make it a PG-13 movie. Let's make a grittier story for people and see how it goes.
Yeah, that's see that's good though. I think that is good because then they got because I think the idea of PG-13 and all this stuff is kind of there's like a board of directors that decide that, but I
Okay.
think making it so that more people are entertained and it's not just like a children's movie
Yeah.
was a smart move, especially on their part. And plus having the streaming services, like, it doesn't matter. It's not regulated as hard, so they have more freedom to include stuff that might be really crucial to the story or might help the story like move along, which I think is important, especially when you're telling stories like that. Like, I'm not too sure on the exact story of Mowgli. I don't know if it's about like an old like
I mean, so
story back in the day that people
Mowgli
used
is
to
like
tell.
real simple. So you basically have a kid. The kid pretty much thinks he's a wolf because that's what he's been taught,
Right.
and he's been raised around wolves, bears, and a jaguar pretty much. And then he moves on to where they make him understand like you're not a wolf, and then he basically has to make choices within himself of what's right and what's wrong.
Yeah. So what was the whole idea of making it PG-13 in that sense?
It's so much better.
Is
Like
it's more
it's so much better just in the sense of like, okay, listen, we could have watched Deadpool and it could have been PG and it could have been like a lot of other superhero movies.
Yeah.
That could have happened.
Yeah.
But we saw Deadpool PG-13 and we saw just the wildness, the outrageousness happen, and we were satisfied, and they were satisfied.
and
'cause they made their
everyone was satisfied. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Killed
it's
a
one of those
larger
things. Like
audience.
I just feel like I don't know, they allowed characters to really like come to life and come out and be like more just graphic, like
More real,
yeah,
kind of idea. Like the more it's a little more gritty, so therefore it's like more real, and that's a key to these streaming services. They're able to do that. They don't have rules like putting it on television where you can't curse, so you can't do like, dude, they could say fuck, shit, all
exactly.
that, and and I think that's why people are liking it more too. Is like I personally love to see that grittiness. I love the grit. I want that realness. Like, the world isn't PG-13, so why the fuck is your movies? I mean, for kids I get it, but like as an adult, like I think it's just people like that realness and that
Yeah,
grit.
and I mean I've noticed like a huge difference between. I didn't really used to notice as like a kid or even as a teen. Like it's a huge difference between PG-13, and that mature 17. Like I seen the gap in the movies, and I'm like, oh wow, like I see it now. Like
Yeah.
when they say PG, like this is like this is giggles and and no profanity, literally. Like
Nothing going on, yeah. Oh my gosh. So, going off that though, where do you think these like streaming services are headed? Where do you think kind of is going next? I know Disney's got a lot going on.
it's man.
That might be
I
crazy.
hope like these companies had a lot of meetings preparing for the storm. The storm is coming because Disney is on the way, and you know how Disney is. It's like
Oh yeah.
they it's simple. You either get down or you lay down. Like
Well, they're so powerful and big that they they pretty much own everything you could think of. Like,
yeah, so I think I think it's headed towards Disney winning, and I still have a strong belief that I personally think the price of Netflix will drop, not drastically. Right now at Netflix is about like $9, $11.
yeah.
I can see not Netflix dropping in the 4 to 7 range, somewhere around that. I don't know, random price $6.99. Everybody, please get it. And it's not like, oh man, Netflix died, RIP. Like, I can't believe Disney destroyed them. It's just the reality of like what I feel like. Hey, we as a company, this is what we need to do. I think we need to do this. I think it's the right thing to do. It's the right path to go down. Let's get more customers. Let's figure it out.
See, so on the opposite, I kind of think that I think Netflix will be fine. I don't think they'll lower their price. Like to me, I don't think I think that's stupid. I think what they're probably gonna do is they're gonna add more value what they're making. So basically, they have one thing that Disney can do, but they have one thing that's really important. They have these Netflix originals. I think that is the one thing that is making them and will make them be fine. Like Disney has the opportunity to create all these other shows as well, but there's something about Netflix shows and the people that are signed onto their distribution and their production that I think holds the key to their longevity. Because Disney is going in so cocky. They got so much stuff. It's unreal. And their idea is like, oh, we'll just take away all the stuff. But I don't know. I'm the type of person where I'll go with Netflix over Disney. I'm not gonna pay for fucking another site like Disney. But some people will, obviously. It's good for kids and stuff like that. But I think Netflix holds the key to people who are like avid movie watchers or show watchers that want that they want that real content. And I think Disney, they might come in with their Disney like crazy Disney shows and big budgets, but I think Netflix has those writers on staff and those the production crew on staff to make shit like to make real good shows and TV and like movies.
So I like Netflix originals. I just feel like they don't content isn't fast enough. In a sense of like, I feel like if they want to, be those guys and be for the long survival of the next 10 or 20 years, we need a what do I want to say? I feel like we need a bird box moment every 2 or 3 months of the year. And I feel like that's not what we're getting. We're getting, hey, some people like this. Some people like this show. Some people like this movie. But we need those like Bird Box moments. Like Bird Box came out, Netflix original, hottest thing in the streets.
Everyone's talking
everywhere
about
you
it.
go, they're talking about it. Every social media site, they're talking about it. You got one.
Yeah. And I agree with you. I think that's where I feel like they have to go, though. That's what I was saying. Like I feel like they'll be fine if they can figure that out to add that value all the time. Keep people interested. Like Disney has a force to create shit like that on like instant on a dime. They have the resources to create that shit all the time. But Netflix, I feel like they have more of that. It sounds cheesy, but I feel like they have more of the heart. They have more of like, okay, well, they're going in cocky. In this situation, I guess we'd be considered the underdogs. So Definitely. We're gonna go in there. We're gonna get our best writers on staff. We're gonna treat them well. We're gonna get these actors that we already have signed to sign again, and kind of push our stuff further, and make great content that has that value. That sometimes maybe Disney can't, because value is all obviously perception, but based.
Now the other thing that's like huge that it keeps getting talked about, and no matter what the sources that I see it from, it's just so hard to imagine. It's kind of how you said of the stripping of superhero movies, which is big. I mean, it's kind of like whether you like or dislike superhero movies, they're running the world. So I'm just imagining, I wake up, turn on my Netflix, and all of the Marvel superhero movies are gone. Like not one, Jessica Jones show, not no Luke Cage, not no, Black Panther is gone. It's like it's gone.
Yeah.
I know for a lot of people, like they like this is the last straw. Like I'm fed up.
Yeah, they need to come in. That's what I'm saying. They need to come in. Netflix needs to come in real hot with stuff. And I looked at the list for Disney and like the movies that they're releasing. It's insane. It's so many
And
classics,
then the
so
other thing is
many.
like not even just the classics. Like I know they're doing a lot of stuff with things that people like. For example, I know Falcon is having his own show. They're giving Loki his own show, and these are people that people love to watch. People love to see. So they're
Yeah,
like, oh man, it's a whole new Falcon show. Like I thought they would never do that, and I don't know. It's just going to be like
it's gonna be
it's
different
going to be big, very very successful. Like I'm calling it her. Like it's going to be very successful, and
for
I
sure.
mean, maybe nothing will happen to Netflix. Maybe Netflix will keep the price the same, and Disney will be in its own lane in its own world, and then both things will just become a part of people's life.
Yeah,
Um,
because I mean, I see that happen all the time. People have Netflix, HBO. I mean, that's what I'm saying with Disney. Like, I feel like those other sites that we don't see, like, I mean, HBO, Showtime, they have their own stuff. Like, could you believe people still pay for Showtime, HBO, and stuff like that just for, like, certain shows? Because to me, that's crazy. To me, that just shows you that Netflix will be straight fine. Because majority of people have Netflix already. And some of these people are paying an extra $7 just to get Game of Thrones. So that's why Netflix needs to figure out that tactic to get people to fucking, if not pay more, to fucking watch those shows.
yeah, I'm with you. I'm
Like the
definitely
value
with
of Game of Thrones is high. People will pay $7 a month to fucking watch Game of Thrones.
you. Yeah, it's crazy.
Which is insane. And that's why I think Disney. I think they want to like be the top dog, but I just think it's just gonna be like a
One
really
thing I
crazy
am
thing.
like, I guess, I mean, I'm pretty sure it's a lot of paperwork. It's a lot of just everything. Like it will take a lot, but I am kind of surprised that the sporting hasn't just integrated into its own streaming service, or that you can't just, I guess, have like a sporting, what want I say? Yeah, I guess like that's my main thing. Like, I would not be surprised if like everybody figures it out as sporting like leaves cable.
Yeah,
And I say that in a sense of like, I mean, just imagine like you have literally, or maybe it might take a couple to combine their own like cable service, and then others might want to follow up. But let's just
yeah,
say basketball and football literally are like, hey, we worked out the paperwork and everything, and it took 15 years, but we're going to release our own cable box, and we're leaving Spectrum. We're leaving Dish. And if you want to watch football and basketball, you buy this new cable box at a lower price. This is what you get to watch.
yeah. And I feel like they have slowly been making these streaming. Like Fox has their own like streaming streaming thing, but obviously you have to pay for it. But their own sports streaming, they have that, but it's not. I know what you're talking about. It's
But yeah, I'm
not.
talking
It's
about
not
like
like
this is like big statement. This is
yeah,
like big
because that's
statement,
the only
national coverage.
yeah, because that's the only thing holding people to cable. I feel like. I mean, a lot of
Yes,
times it's
it
like
is.
people want that live sporting event, and those live events, just in general.
I mean, it has to be a crazy amount of money that keeps things the way that they are
Yeah,
from these bigger companies, and that's why things stay the way they are. But I don't know. Sometimes people want to rebel. People leave. We see it happen
yeah,
all the time. Like these two businesses are no longer merged, and we're like, whoa, that's crazy. I can't believe they just got up and left. But
yeah.
it happens.
It does, and I think it's just weird, especially with sports and with live events like the news and like political things like that. I think those are the main things that are holding cable together, and I think I know I think it's because people don't actually want to. A lot of times, people actually don't want to pay for a whole streaming service just for that. Does that make sense? Like, people don't necessarily want to pay for the news in the same way that they would want to pay for a show and consume shows.
But I think sports is different.
Sports is different. Well, that's why they have like NFL Ticket where you can watch everything you want. That's different, but I feel like it's still like this weird like separation of, well, now you got to buy NFL Ticket, you got to buy like whatever there is for basketball.
See, but that's the thing. Like, so what I'm saying is like, it wouldn't be an NFL Ticket. It's just like all your sports come in a box.
Or maybe like a live streaming. Like, what if it's just like this like? Because what really is cable? Like I feel like cable itself is now becoming like like sort of streaming. In a way, like, because you can download a Spectrum app to your Xbox.
I mean, yeah, but the whole thing of cable,
it's weird.
The whole thing of cable to me is so when we have to ask ourselves what separates us from cable to a Netflix. And I mean, one, like we were just talking about, you have sports. Two, it's live. That's what separates it. So I know that this show comes out on this day, and if I'm not there, I missed it. They told me to be there at 8:30. I showed up at 9 o'clock. I missed it.
Yeah.
And for some people, it's a mixture of things. I think it's a mixture of a thrill. It's a mixture of like, dude, this is the hottest thing. Like, I'm about to get together, all my friends, and we're about to watch this.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of like, it is kind of a thrill that, it's just like, it's the first time everyone is seeing it. That's what I think does
award shows, of course. Yeah. Award shows, perfect example.
That's what I'm saying, these live events. Dude, the live events are people there.
Yeah, definitely live events. Live events being exclusive. I mean, you know how this is the same thing with even stuff like Jordans. Like, people like it being exclusive. People like the whole, I'm about to wait in line. Everybody's not going to have these. It might be a large amount of people to take pictures, but somebody is going to be able to say, I missed it. I showed up too late to the line. I got denied.
Yeah.
And people like it.
Yeah. Yeah, and I feel like the only reason why people go to streaming is because it's like, it's on your own time. You know, that's on your own time. And that's another niche. But, like, the idea of this cable and the streaming services is just, like, a crazy competition. Because, like, I feel like cable's got to end. Like, I mean, like, how long can they hold? It's outrageous to think about, like, all right, so you pay a cable company, I don't know, what's the price for cable? Probably, like... We don't have it, so like I don't know, but it's probably like around what? I mean, $34-$60.
Let's be realistic. Most people still know and see about cable because of Wi-Fi. So, as a person, you know what I'm saying, like, hey, I'm about to go get Spectrum or whatever for I don't know, $60-$70 for Wi-Fi. What they'll do is they'll be like, oh, I got this big combination package. I'm going to hook you up. And, I mean, that's about over $100. So, basically, you can say cable is $100. I haven't even seen, like, you probably can buy it yourself. And I know I'm probably being ignorant to the viewers of just not knowing, like, how much cable is. That's, like, some rich people stuff. I don't know anything about that. But, yeah, I say, like, cable... The cheapest, I'm pretty sure it's like $60. I'm pretty sure it's $60.
Yeah.
You want to watch cable monthly. You want that live action, that everything live, and to see all the great sporting events. It's gonna be like $60.
Yeah, which is, if you really think about it, which is crazy because you're paying a monthly fee for Netflix. You don't get any ads. You don't have to wait, but. You're paying fucking like triple or quadruple just to sit through ads and commercials.
Here's the thing. I have a strong belief in status and the HBO effect. So it's a large group of people that will say, you know, if you come first, it's going to be really hard to get rid of you as long as you provide a great service. So I believe it's a large group of people that literally have cable as a status. Like, it's people that probably work in corporate America, work about 70 hours in a week, and they have cable, Netflix, Hulu, because they can afford it. and socially is there. So when they do
Yeah.
have that one Super Bowl a year, they're like, oh yeah, I want everybody to come over. I got the game in my house. Like,
Yeah, it's that status idea.
um,
And I think those like, to be honest, if I had the money, I would have cable as well. Just because the sense of like,
Eve,
I like background
another
noise,
thing,
you
when
know?
it comes to status goes into kids. So again, I work in corporate America. I'm working. I have my money. My kids have cable. When they go to school, if it's some show, I don't want my kids to say, "Oh, I can't watch that because my dad he can't afford cable."
Yeah.
So people have those things for like it's. I'm telling you, it's a bit of status. Status plays a huge part into why cable is still like flourishing right now.
Yeah. And there's something about being able to just like, I don't know. For me, when I turn on like Netflix to kind of either A, like, kind of lay in bed and like kind of go to sleep, or B, just to have it on. Because I think that's a lot of times people just have cable on. Because you don't have to think about what you're watching. You just turn on something. Oh, that'd be interesting. You just click it, you turn it on, and it plays in the background, or you watch it for a few minutes while you do something else. I think that's another thing it has, because on streaming, for some reason, I don't know if that's just me, but I get super particular about what I play because I don't want to miss something I could like that I would have enjoyed. Like I can't watch. I'm watching right now. I'm watching Adam Ruins Everything, the show on Netflix, and I cannot let myself miss any bit of that show. So like I won't play it as background or to go to sleep because I like want to make sure, I don't miss anything.
The other thing,
Does that
I
make
know a
sense?
lot of people, yeah, I know a lot of people might not agree, but I think people actually secretly like advertising. But people don't like it when you overdo it. So people want to be able to, sit, watch a show that they love, and in the middle of it, if you were to tell them about another show, they're like, "Oh, that sounds cool. These are people I could trust. This is the
Yeah.
channel that I watch. Like, I know they're telling the truth. I know that's a good show that comes on in 2 hours. I'm gonna watch that because they told me to." But obviously, when you're
You're
overdoing it,
right.
if you constantly see a commercial for, I don't know, you constantly see a commercial for like plastic cups or something, like you get annoyed.
Yeah,
Like,
you're like
I'm tired
fucking
of this commercial. I heard you the first time. It's 1999. Get out of my face. But
those infomercials. Oh my
but when you're
gosh.
like doing advertising, in a smooth way, like they might show like a celebrity. Like we can see stuff where like maybe I don't know, Wiz Khalifa might be eating a bag of Doritos, and we're like, man, Doritos would probably be good right
It'd be
now. Like
good right now.
them
Yeah.
Doritos probably slap. Like that's the new bag that just came out. Like I need to see what's
Yeah.
going
What
on with
flavor is
that.
that? No, I agree. I think that it does definitely have an effect on people and what they consume. And like people enjoy being kind of told what to do. At the end of the day, that's how it is. You might not think that. People fight that, I think. But I think at the end of the day, psychologically, you're just in tune with that. Like people pushing you to do things are why you're making like decisions throughout your day. For some reason, in the back of my head, I'm like, oh man, we need to get Doritos,
Then we
and I
need
can't
to.
think of like why I'm getting Doritos. Well, if you think back to when you saw him eating the Doritos, you're like, okay, it makes
Yeah.
sense now why I have it in my bed like cart.
Then we also have to understand like cable has originals too. Like all the
Yeah.
time. I mean, I don't know if you can purchase VH1 separately or how that works, but I do know if you buy the cable bundle, it comes with VH1, and you can see the VH1 originals, you can see the BET originals, and people like to see that like behind the music and what happens to this their favorite band, etc. And BT created movies and stuff like that. So I mean, cable also has originals,
Yeah.
and another thing is people grew up. So again, going back to the HBO effect, you grow up with these people. They've always been in your home, and then you have to ask yourself, "Am I going to kick them out?" Now, us as younger people, it might become like a financial thing.
Yeah.
Like, hey, you gotta go, buddy. Like,
Yeah, we're
like
like
I'm
it doesn't
taking,
make any sense
yeah,
for
I'm taking
us.
the cable box back. You're out the door. But somebody's older, they kind of have life, financially secure, everything's together. They're just like, hey, it's just a couple bucks. It's $60. It's $100. Who cares?
Yeah.
Just it's gonna stay.
Because that's like a small percentage. Yeah, as us as young people, it didn't make sense to us because A, it costs more. Like if I don't need any more bills, and then B, it's we don't have the same amount of time as these older people that they have it figured out, so they can sit and watch their show, or they wait till 9 to watch their show. It's fine. They relax after work. We're always moving. That's kind of how we are as our generation.
Like we literally have.
So we don't have much time.
I mean, not in Ohio, but we have self-driving cars that come pick up people, but yet people insist in getting in a taxi. It's a status thing. My great-grandfather always went to the taxi after work, and that's how things have been. I'm going to use the taxi. I keep hearing so-and-so about Uber and Lyft. Those people haven't even been around long enough. Get that stuff out of my face. I'm taking the taxi. So even to go from why is cable around? Why is the taxi around? It's the same concept.
Yeah, people don't like to change. They don't like change.
People don't like to change.
Yeah, they don't like change. They don't like to change, and that'll never end. But I think something's gonna happen. I mean, I think they're ultimately whether cable just hosts, whether they have an actual box or they just host online in a similar fashion to streaming websites. I think it'll be around.
I think taxi market may go down when self-driving cars are at mass production dominating. I don't know how long that's going to take, but the day where it's unheard of for your car to not be self-driving, I think things would have been changed so much around the world. People were like, dude, you about to call the who? The taxi.
Well, that goes that at the end of the day it goes with generations, right? We were raised, we did have cable, we did have taxis, whatever, but they weren't as crucial to our life. We weren't adults when we weren't waiting for shows as adults,
Yeah.
Like now we're doing Uber, we're streaming because that's how we know how to live as adults. And these kids will only know that. So could you imagine how eventually, like you're saying, it's going to, those old people, generation's going to get tossed over the edge, and then now it's us. Now we're the old people.
Right.
Then something new will come along, but then there'll be the understanding still, and then maybe that'll get pushed off the edge. Then the newer generation, will have newer customs. Like instead, maybe it won't even be a self-driving car. Now it's teleporting or some, what I'm saying, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think it just is automatically just generation.
I think streaming service is gonna. I have a lot of crazy ideas and theories, but I think it's gonna be a period where the streaming service they basically have either call centers set up or computers, and literally it's gonna be like that. Hey yo, Netflix, what's going on? I'm trying to watch a new movie. And I don't know if it's be computer based or like I said, it might be call centers depending on how good money is across the world. But I can really see literally you said Hush or Scream. No, I seen both of those. I'm trying to watch a new horror movie. What do y'all got? And I think that's going to be the next elevation. Because now, don't get me wrong, you can press the talk option and you can tell them what you want to watch. But I think it's going to be more of that
more even personal, huh?
Yeah, more personal.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a personal period with these streaming services. Hey, help me out.
And they slowly are getting into that with recommendations. They're slowly, but it's not as well as your personality per se. I've heard of that. I've heard people are really that's the next step.
Yeah, that's definitely the next step.
They're trying to make everything catered to you as the viewer, which everyone loves. But again, that has to do with advertising, what you're thinking. People don't know, can't decide. That's the problem. People cannot decide what they want to watch. So what advertisers do and obviously this has to do with what companies want people to watch as well. But they want it to be catered to you because people can't make decisions. And But then that's also beneficial to the consumer in the fact that like we can't make decisions, but we want to see shit like this, you know. So in a way, it's a win-win, but in a way, it's kind of like crazy to think about, you know. Like you're like I'm not making the decision; someone's making it for me. But that is the next step because I mean I can't tell you how many times I listen to a song and I'm like, damn, like I want the same vibe. I want the same kind of song. I want the same vibe to play in the next song. And everyone does want that, I think. And I think that is the next step.
Like literally everybody, you know, you done invited your 8 buddies. It's a Friday night. Y'all at the crib, you know, you got the pizza and, you know, you're talking to, I mean, Disney Plus, Hulu, Netflix, whatever you prefer. And you're just like, hey, like we're trying to watch some action movie. And, you know, they pull up Kill Bill. You're like, no, dude, like, not like Kill Bill. Like, come on, like, show me some other stuff. And they're like, wait one moment. And then, like, it just goes and shows you, like, some other type of action movies.
Yeah, super personal to your profile, maybe.
Yeah.
I could see that. Yeah, like, you'd be like, yeah, it's a little more interactive than just the voice talk or Siri or Alexa. It's like, oh,
I mean, so
like you have your own. What if you were hanging out with a bunch of buddies and you're like, you have your own like personal kind of like profile like digitally, which they already have on you, really. Now.
I mean, so just think, innovation is so crazy because if you had told somebody like in 1990 that the controller was going to cut on the game system, they would have looked at you like you were crazy.
Yeah.
Like. Literally, you know, you could press the controller, the game system comes on. Like, yeah, that was literally life changing.
You don't. What do you mean? You don't have to get up and walk over to the system and turn it on from there?
No, you don't.
No, that was like what they were thinking, though. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like
technology is crazy. Innovation's insane.
But that was a small thing that probably like. I guess the other thing with innovation is nobody's thinking about it. Like the first person is the crazy person.
Yeah, because no matter we can think about all of these crazy things that'll happen in the future, but in reality, we probably have no fucking idea what the next fucking crazy person's creating or genius is creating. You know, like we really have no idea.
Right.
And that's pretty crazy to me. The innovation rate's crazy. People are smart, man.
I'm really interested in the phone market.
Yeah, like where it's going.
What happens? We saw a Razor challenge a BlackBerry, but BlackBerry was there. It was like whatever. Who are these new guys? What do they think they're doing? Little Razor phone. It's supposed to be a big deal, big whop. And then we seen the iPhone and Android destroy both phones, literally destroy. Like, it's unheard of to have a BlackBerry in 2019. And, you know, what's that elevation or who's that next guy? Or how do you guys play survival in, like, making people... Well, actually, I guess it's not even a game of survival. As long as Apple and Android are those guys and they tell us it's the new phone, it's the new phone. So they're safe as long as it's not another guy to just appear and say, hey, your phone can't do this.
Hey, this is orange.
You know, like literally, like it could be anybody. Like
this new dude comes in, it's like orange. There's banana back
even
there.
You know, we constantly laugh at so right now I guess Windows isn't a category, but it's kind of like the downfall. Like nobody really wants the Windows phone, and they could be working on we've been laughing stock for the past couple of years.
Dude, I forgot about Windows Phone.
And then boom, like. Because it's not like they're under a small company, you know. Windows still works with Microsoft. So, you know, they could be plotting something like, we have the next generation, the next game changer, the software that makes you not even want the iPhone. That was so
crazy. That's crazy to me because I totally forgot about Windows. And I remember there was a point, though, when they almost had a decent percentage. Like, it was it was like 5 years ago, maybe. They had or maybe less than that. But they had maybe a sliver of the market. And I was like, dude, my buddy had not, I like the kind of the interface and setup, but then what they couldn't do compared to the other phones, I was like, well, you can't get that game on that phone, but you can get it
Yeah,
on the
it's
other
the
two,
games, it's the software.
or you can't get that
And,
app on that, but you can get it on the other two. Like, no thanks. I'm sorry.
But
Like,
yeah, it's definitely the games, it's the software itself. And then, I mean, they're doing great in the computer market. Lovely, as always.
but I think
But
people are meant.
But when it comes to that phone market, I mean, they got some work to do. But maybe that, I don't know,
Could be
maybe.
next.
But like I said, like I'm really interested in if it's a time where I see the iPhone go down, I'm gonna be like, wow, like this software is literally better. Like it's undeniably better. You
Yeah.
created something far above my imagination to make me leave Apple.
Which would be insane. Which would be crazy. But we'll see where that comes in. But I don't know, man. I just couldn't see Apple getting taken down.
But I feel like that's exactly how people felt.
Yeah,
Like
innovation.
I feel like that's how people felt. People like could not imagine a phone better than a BlackBerry. Like I feel like people was like, oh yeah, they're just gonna upgrade every year.
So exactly. So I feel like the only way to one up or beat the iPhone or the Android is to create. So basically the iPhone created multitasking, right? On one device, quick multitasking for the normal person. BlackBerry was marketed as like a business multitasking device. Like it was for business people. Like the majority of people that had it were supposed to be like checking their emails, doing these things. But when the fully touch screen iPhone came out, man, that's like people can now play game. Like it's not meant for just a business person. It's marketed as like an everyday multitasking device for the consumer. So what's next?
So the thing is, they're both business phones. It's just you can do your business better.
Marketing though.
You can do the business better on the iPhone. Because even when we look at
that's why they came in and won. Because that's what I'm saying. It's like the way it was marketed is like BlackBerry was marketed to these corporate America people.
See, but I feel like it was marketed towards elite, which is iPhone. So I feel like it's the same concept. It just Apple doesn't even really have commercials. Like you just see, it's like other people create commercials for Apple.
Yeah,
which is so crazy in its own. Like when the Apple phone is dropping, they don't do commercials all month. Like March 17th, the iPhone is on the way.
You have no idea what it looks like. People are standing in line.
What you'll hear is these blog sites create commercials.
Yeah.
But the company Apple, they're not paying for an ad on.
That's why they have a good team and all that stuff. Like they're ready. But I mean, even you can see it through their Apple Music. It's crazy that Apple can just do streaming.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. Like I love the Apple
podcasts.
system.
It's crazy.
I love the Mac. Apple Music is great. And right now it's hard for me to fathom, but I always say like anything is possible. Like when it pops up, it pops up.
Like, did we ever picture streaming services to be above cable? People didn't even know what the idea.
Yeah,
of
like
streaming
people laughed at streaming services. Again, we're going into a lot of self-driving cars. Like that's going to be the thing. But again, if you told somebody in the 1980s, like self-driving cars are on the way, they're like, stop smoking that dope. Like they're not on the way. That's not a thing.
Yeah.
And so that's what I'm saying. Like things are changing. People are figuring out ways to dominate. People are figuring out, their own niche.
Yeah, and I think it'll just keep going. We'll never know what's next. That's why we should live in the present and just keep on fucking trucking. And, get ready for the next step. But that's a good place to stop for today. My name is Chef T.
I'm Will the Spacekid.
This was episode 2. Thank you for listening and watching. Keep it real. Thank you all for listening and joining us on another episode of the Stirfry. All the music was created by Steve Ozell. Check him out on streaming services at Steve-O Music. All the E's in his name are 3s. Also, if you enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe and leave a review. See you next Tuesday where we talk about one of my favorite subjects, motivation and chasing your dreams. You do not want to miss this one. So keep it real and see you next week.